Hi everyone, thanks for tuning in to our Emmy Contender series. My name is Yvonne Villarreal and I cover television. We're here today with Elizabeth Olsen and Mamoudou Athie, who star in the Facebook Watch series Sorry for Your Loss. The series follows a young widow as she tries to process the unexpected death of her husband. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thanks for having us here.
I wanted people to know how to pronounce your last name.
Well, thank you for asking.
Did I do it justice?
You did it perfectly, actually.
Okay.
I was like so proud of you.
Thank you.
It's Mamoudou Athie, but yeah, you said
Mamoudou
it.
Athie.
Yeah, thanks.
So thank you so much for being here. When was the last time you guys interacted?
We were talking about that.
Yeah,
I think it's been October, September. When was Toronto Film Festival? Or did I see you
It was
since
September.
then?
Been a while.
September.
That's the last time I saw you, yeah.
That's so weird.
Isn't it?
Yeah. I
Feels
mean,
like
he's
a
gotten
while.
stronger. He's gotten bigger.
Stronger. It's going to make it a little weird making it season 2. It's like, what is
I know. It's
different.
like, how did he get so buff in the
Yeah.
past all of a
What?
sudden?
Yeah, weird. I'll lose it.
You're already shredded though. You're just like,
Shredded,
you just
yes.
got like
Just no.
bigger muscles now.
Keep it coming.
No, stop, please.
So, I mean, talk to me about what initially drew you to the series. And we'll start with you because it was really like a 3-year process for you, right?
Yeah, I think from this year, I would have read it about 4 summers ago. And I read it with like a stack of other things to read. And the humor popped out at me, the way it was written, the language of the show that Kit Steinkellner wrote really drew me in. I thought it was funny and heartbreaking and just a great opportunity. And it was also sent to me with the understanding that they would also ask me to be a producer on it, which I've never done before. I've also never done television before, so producing something you've never done before seems a bit silly, but I said yes. And it was a long process of pitching it and finding its home, and it ended up in, I think, the right place for it. But it was really the heart of the show with the humor, because I feel like it's hard to talk about grief and specifically like westernized cultures, I think, and especially in the States. And it's such a taboo subject, but it was handled with so much heart and humor and specificity, I think.
Mamoudou?
Well, James Ponsel and Lizzie were attached, so I was like, okay. Great. That's it.
In.
Yeah, done. Really, it was that simple for me. And the
Yeah,
script
because
was
you'd
great.
already worked with James.
I loved working with
Yeah.
James, and I'd seen her work, obviously, and she's fantastic, so I was like, oh, this is
And
gonna be wonderful.
we had a Skype chemistry
It's like,
read.
how do you do that? When I read that, I was like,
It was so awkward because there was like a sound delay, but I swear to you, we were all like, whoa, this is incredible.
Just
This is
keep
the
on,
greatest. This is obviously like where we should be living. And it was through Skype. Sorry, I just spit so much. But it was so awkward. And you were like, hey, can we actually, like, the sound is weird. Can we reset it? And it ended up being such a beautiful audition. And Mamoudou blew everyone away.
Wow.
And we're all just like watching him on a computer screen.
They
It
had
was
me
so
audition 15 times. They didn't.
really?
No,
Oh,
no.
No.
my
No, it
God.
was
like one's
actually-
for us and one's for Facebook. or
Yeah,
something.
right. Yeah, I was like, okay, all right, I see what's happening here.
What
That
was the
lovely.
scene you guys were doing?
I don't remember.
I remember. It was the scene with like our kind of argument scene, and
Yeah, on the
first-
sofa? No.
Yeah, we did the sofa scene, and I think a scene from like episode.
Not episode 1.
I don't think so.
Can't remember.
I just remember it was like kind of like a passive aggressive fight.
Those
Yeah.
are always the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I remember you like laughing. Mm-hmm. At the passive aggressiveness.
Right.
That's good. I wanted to take a moment to read some comments about the show, if you don't mind.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Every bit of this episode hits so close to home. When I originally started watching this show, I was looking for myself in order to help myself grieve the loss of my husband. I knew from the second episode that I would not only see myself, but I was seeing my husband. I feel this show on every level. I can't believe you guys made this so realistic and relatable because depression is so painful. It's not wanting to get up because you think you're a disgrace and a failure. The mental ache is worse than dying. This hit me hard. Did you guys read some of the comments that, I mean, it's hard not to see them if you're watching a certain way. But you sort of, after you're watching the episode, get lost in seeing how people respond to it. Have you had a chance to take that in?
I did. It's like the one social media thing I do still have. And I was curious, and it was really beautiful. Yeah, really moving.
I didn't on Facebook. I just, people would, from like I think producing team really would send things that, like that. I never heard that one before. I think the thing that Kit wrote well and our writers did a great job with, and is about the monotony and the mundane aspects of grief and depression, not the dramatic aspect of it. And I think the dramatic aspect of it is not what we connect to. We connect to the day-to-day of not wanting to get out of bed, or with Mamoudou specifically in that his beautiful episode that James directed. It's that time, even the sound design was all about this time that you spend doing the same thing to try and fix something over and over again. And I think that's so specifically relatable, and that's hard to put on camera in a way that I think is, I don't know, entertaining or something. But I do think that we try to create that balance of covering monotony but not being boring.
Right, right. Yeah, because these are topics, I mean, like you said earlier, you know, talking about depression, talking about grief, talking about medication, like these are often things we either deal with in silence or we just don't want out there. We don't want other people to know about it. How close to home did this hit for you guys? Like, how have you related to what this show covers? Like, have you gone through a profound loss like these like your character did? Like, have you had those low moments where you don't know how I'm gonna like process or get out of bed because I'm feeling so low?
Well, I mean, I think everyone has someone in their life that suffers from depression in some form. And for me, I was a little, I keep on saying this, but I was a little embarrassed that I'd never really taken the time to research it, you know, in a way that I had, because I was doing a show about it.
Right.
So I learned a lot, and it definitely changed the way I interacted with, like, you know, some of my friends and family members with a lot more generosity, because it's a killer. It's difficult. It's just to be able to be graceful with someone who's going through such a horrible time. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's the thing I learned most about how to bring up people who have passed that are the closest people in either family members or friends' lives. I used to think, oh, maybe they don't want to bring it up after a certain point. And then I think that was the thing that really changed in my life, is to engage in a conversation about someone who's gone, because through this research and understanding and reading, that people don't, especially in A Year of Magical Thinking, Joan Didion talks about the distance from the death becoming less specific, and she wanted the specificity. She didn't want it to turn into this like hazy, dreamlike memory that's all good. She wanted all the details, and that was the thing that she was so fearful would disappear. People want to talk about it, I think, and to know that was new for me.
How was it working with Facebook? The show was originally developed with Showtime in mind, if I'm right. How was that experience? Were you worried that it wouldn't reach the people because this was sort of a new endeavor for them? Like, how was it for you?
Yeah, I mean, I still would like it to be seen by more people. I would like it to be known more that Facebook has a new streaming app, so that they could see the show, because we're proud of it. I think it ended up being so kismet because Facebook is the place where you learn about death and like babies being born, and that's the place where you find out, especially if it's a death of someone like a teacher from when you were younger, or just something that you wouldn't have a connection to right now. So it ended up being this perfect community already. They already had all this grief group support there. So it ended up working out in a really beautiful way. But I don't have Facebook, but I do have Instagram. So I'm like, but no, you guys like, aren't you guys part of the same thing? Like, can't like if you just use the same, but you can't. So I don't know. I would like it to spread. I think they know that, so whatever.
But you still have Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I check it occasionally. Yeah.
Well, how was it for you? Because your character is mostly living through memory.
Yeah.
And still capturing the vibrancy of that, still making that feel like alive and present.
Well, I'm alive,
Yeah.
so I was like, oh, I'll just do the scene.
Just be me.
It was
really
fun to do the episode 1 and episode 5.
that
his
was
perspective and my
crazy.
perspective.
Yeah. That was
Just to
crazy.
play with what memories are for different people.
Right,
So I
yeah.
really loved jumping in. If we didn't get that opportunity to be present with you and not in the flashback with you,
Right.
I feel like those were two very different paths.
Yeah, it's
And
like
I
we
think
got two
James was
different-
really trying to get that out of you too.
Yeah.
James,
What's happening?
always tells like so many scary secrets, like the darkest things
Yeah.
you can whisper to
Oh
someone.
my God! Episode 5, I was like, after episode 5, I was like, I gotta go. I went to New York.
You did.
I went to New York for like a week.
I remember that.
I gotta get out of here.
What prep work did you do to sort of understand that mindset?
Well, after reading the script, and it's such a beautiful script, we didn't have all of the scripts, that we got them like every week. And I came to the conclusion before we started episode 1 that he wasn't just sad. Like I thought he was very much a giver, and more so than me, and like just took on everybody else's problems and didn't really take care of himself in
Right.
the process of doing that. So I kind of figured, I was like, well, what if I tried to experience life as openly as possible for as long as possible? Like, I'd take in the news in a different way, I'd take in conversations in a different way. It made me super awkward. But also, it turned out to be extremely exhausting. Like, it's hard to keep that up. And I mean, kind of came to head episode 5 because I was like, it was my heaviest episode. So yeah, I felt I learned a lot from trying to stay that open, and kind of, you read the news, it's almost like an assault. It's like, what is the world? Yeah. So that was basically my prep for the.
What is your self-care that you do to make sure you're checking in with yourself?
I like walking. I actually this year also just started meditating, which I'm not consistent with. But I read the book 10% Happier, the Dan Ronson, right? I hope I didn't get that wrong. But 10% Happier, and it's a kind of like a cynical approach to meditation, to spirituality, from a cynic's point of view and a journalist's point of view of just wanting the facts. And that seemed really helpful to me, and specifically the app that they have is a meditative app. And what it does, because it's called 10% Happier because it's not going to change you. It's just going to make you maybe 10% happier.
Yeah.
That's a lot of percent.
And
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's enough. And so I think the thing that I loved most about it that I started this year is that it helps you recognize when you're thinking. It doesn't make you stop thinking, because that's not possible, but at least you can recognize you're literally making up a story right now while you're driving and it's giving you anxiety. That's a made up thing. That's fictional. So I was using that a bit this year for help in that kind of way. But walking and exercising and cooking for myself, nurturing myself is really important, and others. But yeah,
We don't do enough. Like we just think just get through the day.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
your problems aren't that big. Like, but it's so crucial. What do
is.
you do?
I try to put my phone down more.
Teach me your ways.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's
Yeah.
just too much. I'm addicted.
It is. Yeah.
I'm fully addicted. So I was like, just the whole social media thing and oops.
It really, but it's really important.
It's important. You have to. And yeah, taking a walk sometimes, like just leaving my phone at home. It's just like, oh, this is a new life. It makes a huge difference.
You know, the thing that's really crazy to me is that Facebook is 15 years old.
What?
And Twitter is like 12 years old. And how quickly
Teenagers.
they're teenagers. They're in their adolescence still. And how quickly we adapted as a society, and now it's running our every industry. I mean, anything that needs to be seen, it's unbelievable to me that we adapted so quickly and became like prisoners to it in a way.
Yeah.
But that's how long it's been. 15 years and 12 years.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's a lot. But good for you for not being on all of it.
I'm trying.
You're trying.
Yeah.
I want to take a break and have a little lighthearted moment. Can we talk about Rogue? I'm working with this dog.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really
Wow.
talented dog.
Such a cute dog.
Such a cute dog. Both of them were super talented. I wish I remembered their names.
I was like, Rogue.
One of them could do this walk where its legs, the one in the present could do this walk where its legs would drag behind it and he would walk like this. They called it like the sea line or
Oh my
something.
God.
Wow.
Yeah. He was a really talented
They
dog.
just trained it to do that? Or it's
Yeah.
like, I feel like doing this thing.
They
I
were
don't know.
such well-behaved dogs. I've never worked with such skilled animals. It's incredible.
Wow. I didn't see that dog.
And you and I
wasn't around.
both like aren't dog people. It's
I
just
love dogs.
No, but I feel like you and I both didn't really know what it was.
I didn't know how to deal with
We
the
didn't know
dog
how
that
to
acted.
do. Yeah.
Yeah, what do you
Like,
do?
I gotta do the scene, dog.
Like, yeah, I feel like you and I weren't like
No.
we were both trying to be like, okay, so I feel like we're not being affectionate enough to
No,
the
but,
dog
like,
right
the
now.
way I pick it up in episode 4, I
Like
was
we both
what?
love dogs, but we were like, this isn't natural.
No, yeah, because it's like, wait, can you just?
It's like, well, he's not consistent. It's not
Yeah,
gonna
yeah,
match
it's
with the
right.
last take. So
Right.
should we try it again?
Exactly. I was
Right.
just like worried about the dog's performance rather than.
And editing.
Yeah.
We're going to take some questions from our audience, if you don't mind.
Oh, cool people are watching.
Oh wow, live, right?
Um,
I got so nervous.
You're like keeping our fingers crossed we do get questions. Like people stayed with us this long.
Yeah. Like, what is he on about?
what was the most challenging scene for you?
I have the most challenging episode. I think episode 6 was really challenging, her birthday, because it was kind of like a manic episode, and it was
God,
a funny balance of trying to figure out is this grounded? Because my whole thing with acting is always like, is this grounded? Do I feel like I am not overdoing something and it's connected to human existence? And when you're doing something that's hyper realistic, that's what our show is. That's the barometer. And so when you play something that's really manic, and it did kind of feel like an all over, we kept changing so much as we went, so it felt a little chaotic. But I think it turned out to be a pretty interesting episode. I really liked it the way it turned out. You, Mamoudou?
It was the that car scene where I had to do episode 1 and 5
I
because
knew you were gonna say
I
that.
had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah.
I was like, I actually talked to my best friends, Yahya. Did I tell you this?
I know who Yaya
Yeah,
is. Yaya's this guy, the
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
I didn't know what the story. I didn't know why he was in his car. Like I didn't know. I just didn't know. It was episode 1.
Yeah, and we didn't have an episode 5 script.
Right. So I was like, why is he? So I remember calling my buddy. I was like, hey man, and he gave me this long story about just like, well, you just gotta like one of those things. You just gotta like do it. Like you might not have anything, but you have to like fully commit to the thing, and then it'll follow. Now, if it doesn't work, 50 people have a story.
Right,
And I
right.
thought that was one of my favorite things. I was like, thanks, Yahya, for that last bit. Of information. But yeah, that was definitely the most challenging because I was just kind of at sea a bit. But Jameson.
I think that's how I felt at episode 6 too. I just felt at sea.
Yeah.
How was it learning how to be a fitness instructor?
I took one bar class. It wasn't for me. I didn't really love it. So, I mean, I've gone to exercise classes, but bar really isn't for me. And
The pulsing is where it gets you.
the pulsing is I respect it and I get it. It really hurt my body. I kind of loved it though as this way for her to like be aggressive, especially with the other widow episode in episode 3. I just thought it was really funny that it was like used aggressively, and you could see, and then also like see her support side of her when she's trying to encourage someone. So I thought it was kind of funny.
Have you ever done one of those
Like
classes?
this whole thing was hilarious to me.
Not since like school, like yeah, like doing ballet. Is it similar bar and ballet?
Bar, yeah, it's a bar class and it's
just, like, hang
similar
out
to
at the bar
ballet,
and-
but it's not ballet.
Oh no.
Ballet I did my whole life. It's not ballet.
Oh wow. So it's
Yeah.
just different.
It's fitness
Oh.
with like a plie.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm
It's like the whole
associating.
thing's like supposed to
Yeah,
burn
yeah. Okay, got it.
and burn
the
hard.
plie, cool.
We had a lot of questions about Avengers Endgame, which
I do too.
you shot while doing this show, right?
What?
Or no?
No, we shot that. I'm not in Endgame, but we shot. But we shot for like a year. They shot both Infinity War and Endgame the same year, and then we did this, and we wrapped December 23rd. We started pre-production in January, and then once we wrapped, I went back to reshoots.
Oh my god. Jesus.
But I've also had 7 months off, so I'm unemployed. But
The fun part of acting.
But
yeah.
I don't know anything about it. Same thing as Infinity War. I only know the stuff that people tell me.
Well, there was some leaked footage today. That was
What?
like
What?
all the rage, right?
No
Yeah.
way.
You're not on social media.
I am, and I didn't. I'm in the movie, and I didn't know. I'm in the world, and I didn't know.
That's news, though, kind of.
I like
this
that
point.
slip, though. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Oh, it's live.
No, I mean, I didn't.
Yeah,
don't
I
know
didn't
why-
watch it yet because I was prepping for this, but I'm like, what
I'm gonna
was-
see it on Monday, and I'm really excited, and I don't want spoilers.
Okay, well, we won't give you spoilers. What can you tell us about season 2? How much do you know?
We started our writer's room about a month ago, I think. We have created a lay of the land of season 2 of where we would like to go and take it and certain characters' journeys. But I think ultimately we want it to be, we are really inspired by season 2s that change it up. That it's not, you're not going back to the same story. I hope we keep people surprised and engaged and interested in the same way we had a bottle episode in Palm Springs or the Mamoudou shift episode to Matt's point of view. And so we're going to continue to have that propulsive, we want to have more activity. We want it to be more driven this year. It's done with the micro experience of the grief, and now it's about moving on and making changes and big changes and bad changes and all those things.
How was it for you? Like, there's this mystery of, or at least in her mind, was it an accident? Did he fall? Was it intentional? How important was it for you to know?
Yeah, did you answer that question for yourself?
Yeah, I thought about it a lot while we were filming, and I honestly I vacillated a bunch. But like it, what I'm gonna.
No, but like, did you come to an answer? You don't have to tell us.
Oh,
but,
yeah,
like, did you come to an answer?
I did. Yeah, I did. I did. I mean, but as as we go into season 2, I do not doubt that opinion might change at some point.
Yeah.
Just as I learn more about Matt, then I'm like, oh, maybe, or So, but yeah.
Well, we look forward to seeing it. We're gonna end things with a lightning round, if you don't mind.
Fun.
Not at all.
Last show you binge watched?
Pen 15.
Killing Eve. After Pen 15.
So funny.
15's great.
Yeah.
Who do you want to win on Game of Thrones?
Oh, come on.
Do you watch Game of Thrones?
I
feel like
jump
you don't
around.
watch it.
I jump around.
That is not watching Game of Thrones. It's
Yes, it
not
is.
being a true fan.
It's a lot.
You guys,
It's a lot.
I love Jon Snow.
Yeah, he's the best.
I really love
What a
Jon
good
Snow.
guy.
And he's the true king of
the
not
North.
the North. He's the
Seven
true
Kingdoms.
king.
This is true. This is true.
He is lineage, and I just want him to succeed. And Bran, for some reason. Bran's really started strong this season.
He's getting real weird.
Oh, the way it ended. I can't even, sorry.
He's like,
The
"You
way it
remember
ended. Did you watch the new
I
episode?
did.
The way, just that look. And how much do we love Jaime Lannister? And then we were like, oh, wow,
No,
you
that's
did
right.
that.
You started all of this.
You did that to
yeah,
him.
yeah.
Are you a viewing party type of watcher, or I need to watch on my own?
I don't want to hear anyone else talk. I am not interested in that. My friend's dad hosted like a 40-person viewing
Oh my
party
God.
and roasted a pig.
Whoa.
Yeah, this is my friend Madeline, who you've met.
Okay.
But
What's the pig?
I just thought that sounds miserable.
Uh-huh.
That is not a focused energy, and you need focus
But
for that show.
I went to a viewing party. Yeah. But I had like a nice
Did you
theater.
feel like it was focused?
It was great.
Do people talk, or do people
No.
respect?
I was probably like the loudest person.
Oh, interesting.
Oh my God, spiders!
But you're not the person asking 1,000 questions, right?
No one.
I hate that.
I also love being able to pause and be like, wait, remember when this happened? Okay.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's different. Okay, you got to watch by yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
What classic TV show would you have loved to have been on?
Classic TV show. Oh boy.
Classic, depending
This is a
on
lightning
your
round?
verb, yes.
I know, I can't
Oh
be
my
fast with this.
Classic.
My brain doesn't remember any television show in history right
Oh my
now,
God.
except for Welcome Back, Kotter.
I keep on thinking about
I don't
science.
know why that's the only television
What's
show in my
that?
head right now. You don't know what Welcome Back, Kotter
Is
is?
that a joke? I don't. I've never.
Up
Is
your
this
nose
something?
with a rubber hose.
Never mind. I can't believe you don't know what
Never
that
heard
Oh
of
show
my
it.
is.
gosh.
No,
Well,
I don't got one.
Maybe the Carol Burnett show,
That's a
but
good one.
I don't know what I would do on it.
Okay.
Not very
Animaniacs,
funny.
maybe.
Animaniacs.
Yeah.
Tiny Toons.
Tiny Toons.
We only know animation.
What's the worst job you've ever had, and it doesn't have to be acting?
Oh boy.
What's yours?
I'll
You
go
got one.
first. Which one? All right, here's one. I had to canvas, like door to door, for
no.
for this like home repair company, and we just went to like different neighborhoods. They just like parachute
Yeah.
down, like these different
A lot of
neighborhoods.
slam doors, I imagine.
Not even. It was just like, what are we doing? What is this?
We can repair.
Yeah, well, here. Oh, we do.
And that's it.
All right. That sucked.
That sounds bad.
Got paid though.
Elizabeth?
I got my real estate license when I was 18. And then I started understudying in college. So I kind of had a quick transition from like having other jobs to working. But I got lucky because I was in school in New York. So it was simpler.
I have a question.
Yeah. Did you not know I had my real estate license?
No, I did not
well,
know
it's
that.
expired
Need
now.
help?
It's in the state of New York.
As
so
a
it doesn't-
matter of fact, I do.
it's
I do.
expired.
What? Why
Yeah, it
did
expires
you,
every 2 years. You have to take a test.
why?
Because I didn't want to work. I believe that as a customer, the customer's always right. But I'm really bad at handling people who are rude. And I just figured I couldn't do a service industry job for summer reason, in between, like in college or whatever. And so I knew I interned as for a realtor when I was in high school. So I was just like, I'll just get my license.
That's incredible.
And I just worked with like someone's rental clients, and it wasn't that bad. It was just hot in the summertime in New York.
That's so interesting.
And I got a lot of blisters. It's like I've been pretty lucky with shit jobs
Pretty
until I
industrious
have
person.
a life change.
I want a show about that. Maybe that's your next one. Well, thank you so much for joining us. It was a pleasure to talk to you.
Yeah, thanks for having us. Like very much. Thank you for LA Times for supporting our show and letting us be here.
And thank you guys for tuning in. If you want to see more of our Emmy chats, head over to latimes.com.